Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between EG, Idra, and Huck here on Shakuras Plateau. Might actually help if I show you guys who's playing here. So now, Liquid Huck spawning as the blue Protoss player on the south side of Shakuras Plateau over here at the 7 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have EG, Idra, everyone's favorite Rager, spawning as the red Zerg player on the north side. I believe, yeah, this is going to be just a normal BattleNet game. So hopefully this game will be interesting. I'm sure Huck is sitting on his Huck pillow. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and check out Team Liquid. Team Liquid's website. Excuse me, as I am now fighting off a little bit of a cold. Or, yeah, just fighting off a little bit of a cold. We now see an Overlord moving its way out from EG Idra. We'll be able to quickly scout out this position here. The Zerg player, a little bit of a benefit in this particular matchup, just because he knows that there is not going to be an ally spawn, can send an Overlord here, and then also send a drone cross spawn as well. Quickly, we'll be able to deduce where exactly his opponent is. Liquid Huck now walking up this ramp. We'll quickly figure out that Idra has spawned over here at the 2 o'clock location, but does not know if a spawning pool has been placed down yet, or if he's trying to go for a fast hatchery. So in comes that probe. Probe walking up the ramp, does not need to come all the way in to see, only needs to check that there's no creep in this location and then back off. Back over here, it does look like Idra is going to get the extractor first, followed by a spawning pool. So the spawning pool and then the extractor. That spawning pool will be up and running probably about, by the time this extractor is up, this will probably be around 30 game seconds in, so he will not have enough time for that metabolic boost to research it. We now see a probe coming down here, for some reason gathering some minerals, I guess stealing some minerals for the greater good. If the game does go long, those 5 minerals may actually do something in this game. Spawning pool nearing completion now, as we already have some drones being transferred into this location here. And wow, I just realized my hit point bars are turned off. Well, so that's kind of interesting. I went on the public test realm, my hit point bars turned off, now turned back on. So hopefully I'll just leave them off for now, and I'll turn them back on when I play. We now see a drone making its way out over here, and we'll be able to do some scouting as well. It needs to quickly find out what exactly Liquid Huck is going for. We now see a gateway followed by a cybernetics core here. We'll have enough room for one zealot right there. May decide to even put a second pylon here, making that a very, very narrow choke point, catching a lot of those Zerglings that really want to swarm to try to take it out. We do see one drone now coming in over here. However, now a pylon has been placed down. We do see some Zerglings now coming in, and now a second pylon coming in. So we may get a canceling of one pylon. Are we going to get that pylon canceled? Yes, we're canceling of that pylon at just the right time. And Huck is just toying with Idra at this stage in the game, dropping a pylon, then canceling it, dropping a pylon, and then canceling it, doing a great job there, realizing it, and now canceling that one pylon, and finally canceling both, delaying that hatchery for quite some time. Back in the base of Huck, though, Huck currently running off of 2 assimilators and now going for a curious second gateway. He perhaps does not want to show what exactly he's currently building or what tech path he wants to go for, and now showing for a 3-gate. So as this is going to be a 3-gate, this is going to be a very, very devastating push coming in from Liquid Huck in just a moment. A zealot now trying to make its way out. One Zergling there, and now back this probe comes with those 5 minerals, and we'll be able to steal those minerals and now return home. A probe now trying to take down this one drone over here. This probe is relatively low on hit points. A probe, Peppy the probe now coming back over, and now we'll be able to deal some damage as well. We should be getting a stalker out. No, just a sentry. So Liquid Huck going for sentries instead. The drone was taken down by a double team of probes there, or triple team, and now a Stargate being warped in. Stargate will be able to train Phoenixes. Phoenixes are a very, very strong opening against Zerg, as it normally forces them to try to go for Hydras. Once a Zerg player gets too many Hydras, it is very, very easy to get them to over-invest in those Hydralists and then just simply use Colossi. Out moves this probe. Probe now trying to return all the way home, and now in moves a Sentry. Wow, very, very interestingly enough, there is currently one Zealot and a Sentry trying to make its way out, now trying to deal some damage towards those Zerglings. Zerglings do have that metabolic boost. Will be able to perhaps try to do a run around there, as does Probe, still continuing to get a lot of damage. Sentry now trying to move back once again, and now this Probe taking some damage. Those Zerglings just moving so quickly around with a 4.7 attack rate, but those Zerglings quickly getting finished off there, as they were relatively low on hit points. And now we're returning back. I'll probably turn on the hit points during this portion of the game when there's not too many units and small encounters are relatively important. Now we see a Void Ray currently being built, and it is being chrono boosted. There are Overlords in position from Idra, so Idra will be able to catch this Void Ray once it is on the move and may decide to try to double train some additional queens. I currently only see one queen so far and at each base, and that is going to be a problem. Now researching Burrow and now getting the Carapace upgrade for those Overlords in order to allow them to move even more quickly. However, these Overlords still will take a lot of damage from this Void Ray. The Void Ray is able to move and attack, and since the Overlord is only going to be able to move at a speed of 1.88 compared to a Void Ray's 2.25, even if the Overlord tries to fly away, that Void Ray will still be able to remain fully charged. Back over here, we now see more Warp Gates and now an additional Forge being researched as well. A lot of Sentries and Zealots, not too many Stalkers. So interestingly enough, using Void Rays as the counter to Roaches and then getting Zealots and Sentries, or just mainly Zealots, in order to offset the amount of gas that those Void Rays do cost, we'll be able to continue to train out more and more Void Rays. 2 Void Rays currently in the air, now on the move. There is one Overlord, and I'm not sure if the Overlord did not see those Void Rays that are in the air and currently does not see this tech building down here. That is absolutely critical. And now the Void Ray, the Overlord will be making its way back over here, sees that there is that Stargate, and now pulling out. We now have those Void Rays making their way out across the map. May not see this hatchery, which is going to be critical as well, as Idra now takes up his 3rd base. So will these Void Rays be able to deal any significant damage is the key question. We are now getting a Hydralisk Den, so that Hydralisk Den, only 20 more units of time in order to complete that, and Hydralisks also are built relatively quickly in addition to an evolution chamber. Quickly now charging up off of that extractor. Queens now making their way in as well. Queen's getting a lot of damage and now trying to focus down one of those queens. One of those queens taking a fair amount of damage so far. It looks like one queen will get taken down. A second queen now getting focused as well. Will this Void Ray pull back in time? Just barely able to pull back, and now down. Oh no, I'm not able to finish this off. So one Void Ray in exchange for 2 queens, and now that we're going to have another queen come in, and Hydralisk currently being trained. 8 Hydras are going to be popping out in just a moment, and Liquid Huck will not be very successful, only getting a couple units there, and then comes another queen and Hydralisk now trying to push back against this Void Ray. A Void Ray now getting a brother, but there are now too many Hydralisks, especially as those Hydralisks are currently on creep, will be able to move relatively quickly and get a lot more damage dealt back onto that Void Ray. Void Ray finally trying to pull back there. In comes another Void Ray. That Void Ray taking a fair amount of damage. He was trying to use the cliff to his advantage. However, there is the Overlord currently in the air. The Hydralisks do not have the Groove Spines upgrade. So range of 5 versus a range of 6. Overlord now trying to make its way in. Not going to be a very smart move, as there are still more Void Rays coming in, and this Overlord may get taken down. However, the Hydra is able to get off a shot there, and now in comes an army of Sentries and Zealots. So those Sentries with those Guardian Shields will greatly reduce the amount of damage that the Hydralisks are able to produce, or are able to deal. And those Zealots are also going to be a main source of DPS. If he's able to split apart this army, we do see some Roaches, and the Roaches now see this over here. Now fighting against those units. In come a couple of Force Fields, as those Zealots are now trying to deal damage here. Hydralisks being forced to fight back over here. More Zealots fighting over here, but this, even with those units stuck, not working out all too well. And Liquid Huck forced to retreat. More Hydralisks now being produced. We are getting the level 1 weapons upgrade. We do see that Liquid Huck does currently have a second Nexus up. The Nexuses do have a lot of energy on them. And now we see Liquid Huck transitioning into a 4-gate with a robotics facility and a Stargate as well. The Stargate is now producing Phoenixes. Phoenixes currently take 45 game seconds to build. After the playtest realm patch releases, it will take only 35 game seconds, just like if it was chrono boosted once. Overlords now making their way out. Hydralisks, a lot of Hydralisks also moving out as well. As these creep tumors are spread across the map, these Hydralisks are going to become efficiently stronger and stronger. We do see Overlords now in the air also dropping creep. What this will allow the creep tumors to do is, based upon that cooldown, they will be able to reach out much further. And now Hydralisks on the move. Roaches also able to burrow and regenerate some hit points as well. I do not believe they have the burrow and move attack. And now there are a lot of photon cannons here, trapping many of those units. Now all of these units sitting back over here. There are Stalkers up on the high ground as well. Photon cannons dealing damage. They are currently being revealed there, and now taking a lot of damage just outside of sight range. No, within sight range. And for some reason, not taking down any of those Roaches. The Roaches are able to regenerate relatively quickly, sitting there, and now dealing more damage against those Hydralisks. Hydralisks no sight onto that high ground. There is a very low hit point Overlord in the air that could have gotten shot out of the sky relatively quickly. A Phoenix now being moved out as well. We do have the robotics bay now currently being built, and with the robotics bay we are going to be getting some colossi. We do have an observer also being trained. Very, very critical that that observer is trained, as we do have burrow already researched by those roaches and for those hydralisks. Hydralisks able to burrow as well and try to launch a surprise attack on any incoming army. Idra should be able to just start spawning creep tumors much more quickly across the map, and spawning over here before this gap even is completely filled in. Overlords now making their way over here, trying to see if there's any additional expansions, and now the Overlord will be able to gain sight of this expansion in just a moment, as these backdoor rocks are currently being cleared. So we now see 3 bases for Idra. Meanwhile, Liquid Huck sitting on 2 bases so far. He needs to take up a 3rd base at some point. Harvester count, he is a little bit behind, as Idra has the economic advantage and now going for infestors as well. But as we are now going to get more and more colossi, if we get anywhere from, I believe, 4 to 6 colossi, those colossi will be able to deal enough damage relatively quickly to just wipe out that Hydralisk army very, very early. That Hydralisk army is relatively weak, only has 80 hit points, and because of the double lancer or the double laser attack from those colossi, you may be able to get 4 colossi to take down multiple hydralisks before those hydralisks even get within range. We now see a nexus being warped in here, so the nexus obviously opening up an additional 8 mineral patches, as these mineral patches are nearly being mined out. Very, very nice timing. By the time that this nexus is completed, these mineral patches will probably be down somewhere in the realm of 200 to 100 minerals each. Hydralisk once again on the move, trying to take down that Phoenix. There's only 1 Phoenix in the air, and now we are going to tier 3. So Hive Tech nearly underway. We also see Corruptors being trained. I like this move by Idra. Idra going for Corruptors, most likely knowing that there are going to be Colossi, but also going for Hive Tech, which will allow those Corruptors to find new use as Broodlords, as long as he gets the Greater Spire research. Level 2 missile attack currently being researched, as well as some probes now doing some long distance walking, now going to be transitioned over here. We do see a lot of Overlords spreading creep across the map, and a hatchery will be placed down here in just a moment. Still, Idra does not know that this hatchery or this nexus is currently up and running, and with pylons here and now 4 colossi, those colossi are going to be able to deal 34 damage per swipe, and with that extended thermal lance range, we'll be able to take down many of those hydralisks before they're able to do anything else. We do see that the Overlord does not see sight onto those colossi. There is a little bit of a reveal there, but now the colossi are on the move. All of these Overlords will get shot down as this army now tries to walk up this ramp and tries to defend. There are 8 Corruptors in the air. Zealots also walking in, and those hydralisks were able to get off 1 round of attack very, very quickly, catching some of those Zealots off guard. Hydralisks moving very, very quickly on creep, and now those roaches able to pick off another unit there. I'm surprised that there is not any creep tumors. There needs to be more creep in order for Idra to effectively fight. Otherwise, his Hydralisks are not going to be able to give chase, especially against those fast-moving Stalkers and those long-range Colossi. So currently 4 Colossi standing tall. We do see a Greater Spire nearing completion, 2 additional Colossi being trained up, as well as those Hydralisks now trying to make their way over here and now simply walking into those extended thermal lance lasers. Those Hydralisks unable to even get 1 round of attack off. Now 9 Corruptors in the air, and we are also getting Spine Crawlers, and also now getting Broodlords. Those Broodlords are going to make it very, very difficult for those Stalkers to get within damage range. Very, very critical. Those Colossi will be able to walk over those Broodlings. However, they may be focusing too much of their time trying to take down Broodlings, as I believe ground units generally try to attack the unit that's closest to them, even if there are Hydralisks there. So out comes those Colossi. Colossi now moving out and now move these Broodlords. Broodlords are now also have a very, very long range as well. Range of, I believe, yeah, 9.5, slightly longer than the range of any of those units here. Stalkers now trying to move in as well. Are those Stalkers going to be able to deal any damage? You'll have to stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Idra, Idra, someone's going to correct me in this YouTube video, in the comments, I know it, and Liquid Huck here on Shakuras Plateau. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, stay tuned for part 2, and don't forget to like this video.